Hey guys, the Firebird is here. It's just me. My brother couldn't be here today because actually, you know what? Let's do things a bit different. TF fan page, take it away, man.
My brother couldn't be here today. He's a complete imbecile. When he spilled his milk, his sippy cup exploded. Fatality. And so when he went over to get some napkins, he tripped and stubbed his toe on the table and he fell over and cracked his noggin, and now he's in the hospital. He'll be fine is what the doctors say, but he was recommended that he tape the sippy cup next time.
Yes.
Also, I don't have a brother.
I hope you guys enjoy that joke. He was very expensive. He charges by the second. Who does that? But anyways, so I was gonna use that joke for the last video, but since it was more of a serious topic, I sort of opted against it. But today is a more chilled video, so you know, I'm totally okay with starting the video making fun of my brother, because that's what I like doing. Anyways, There's Summer Siege just ended in terms of the anime, which, you know, I still have a bit of a problem being called an anime, but whatever, you know, I don't care. And don't worry, I did ask my mom to like review the show, and I'm like working on the script and stuff like that, so that's coming. I don't know if there's any of you like really interested in that, but you know, just in case you are. I'm also working on some other Siege Explain videos because there's a lot of stuff to talk about this show, but since the show just ended and the Earthrise toyline is just picking up with, you know, all of these toy releases and toy exclusive characters and confirmations and speculations and producer interviews, we have plenty of info as to what's gonna happen in Earthrise. And in this video we have some new, well, I wouldn't say exact confirmation as to what we're gonna see for Earthrise. It is for the most part speculative, and we have some small pieces of evidence to go on about. Now this video will have spoilers for Transformers Siege. If you haven't checked that out, or if you plan to check it out, I recommend watching that before, you know, coming to this video. But if you don't care and you're just interested on what's gonna happen for Earthrise, then, you know, you're welcome to stay. So recently we received this 3 Earthrise related artworks. These 3 officially licensed War for Cybertron Earthrise prints. Now these are actually $26 each. You can actually go on this website named Savvy and like buy them, hang them on the wall or whatever. I might actually get one of these, but the problem is that I'm a bit short on money right now, you know, with the rent and stuff, so donate to my Patreon so I can get some of these. Anyways, what's interesting about these artworks in particular is that they are like very clearly focused on the Earthrise toyline, the same toyline that is the thing that's going to be based on to make the Transformers Earthrise follow-up series. There's quite a bit of like really interesting details in the artwork that reveals some plot points that coincide with some of the producer statements that I recently covered, along with matching up with some of the details that happen in the Siege series, where, you know, the Autobots leave the planet, the mercenaries are introduced as a faction, and a bunch of other stuff. There's so many coincidences and so many little details that align with the series and the toyline, which I can definitely see some of the details and some of the events that these wallpapers portray that could indeed happen for Earthrise. So I'm gonna go over each artwork individually, and then I'm gonna explain like what's happening on the scene, how does this align with Siege, and whether we're gonna see this in Earthrise or not. The first artwork we're gonna be looking at is this one with the Autobots, and I have to say I really dig the art for this one. It's something really cool about the Autobots led by Optimus Prime, just, you know, going into battle positions in the middle of the night like some kind of, you know, Spec Ops SEAL team. It looks very cool and I really want to get this. I might actually buy it. You know what, I might. I'll let you know if I do. Now the thing that's very interesting here is that Hoist is there. I don't know if that's Hoist or Trailbreaker. I know they sort of do look the same, so I'm sorry if this is not Hoist. Kinda hard to tell because of the, you know, the coloring, the lighting, the setting. But what's interesting is that in the background we can see the Ark. So, you know, the Autobots do make it to Earth. The Ark lands on a mountain, much like in G1. And what's really interesting is that Hound is there. Now, if you remember, I mentioned that Hound was one of those characters that went missing by the end of Siege. We don't know he made to the Ark, we don't know he got left behind with the leader one and the others. But here, he's very clearly seen with Optimus and the rest of the Autobots, meaning that he did in fact survive Siege. So, you know, that's good for all the Hound fans. And I thought he was actually pretty cool on the show, so it's nice to see him back. Sideswipe, Wheeljack, Bumblebee, RC, everyone here is a lot. All of them survive, all of them make it to Earth and scan their new vehicle modes. As you can see, they don't have the work for Cybertron battle damage anymore, or the weathering effects, they're all pretty much clean by this point. It looks like they're on battle possessions, ready to fight someone, but there are no signs of Decepticons around or anywhere near them. My guess is that they're more likely than not going to be fighting the Coneheads, because we do know that the Coneheads are pretty much confirmed for Earthrise. They do have toys. I wouldn't put it past it that we're probably gonna see them in the Earthrise follow-up series. As soon as they land on Earth, the Coneheads are gonna be some of the first Decepticons to respawn and like try to destroy the Autobots. The second piece of artwork, which I think is the more interesting one and probably my favorite, is the one with all the Decepticons. There's a lot to unpack here, but first I want to talk about the figure in the center. Who is that? Well, that's actually Double Dealer, who we do know for a fact has a toy in Earthrise. Him and Snapdragon, who I talked about in my previous video talking about the mercenary faction. Both Double Dealer and Snapdragon are mercenaries. They go around the galaxy looking for Energon, like working for the highest bidder. And we can also tell because you can see the mercenary symbol right next to Double Dealer and below Starscream. Here we see Megatron basically raging right next to this hologram of the Ark. We also see that the Ark has some small highlights here and there, meaning that this probably happens after the Nemesis chases the Ark. In the other artwork, which is basically, you know, the same artwork that we see for the Earthrise packaging, we see that the Nemesis chases the Ark through space. So my guess is that the Nemesis will chase the Ark gets damaged, but somehow the Autobots manage to get away, and Megatron here is furious that the Ark managed to get away, and right now he is contracting the mercenaries to like pursue and locate the Autobots. It's just a theory, I'm not 100% sure about that, but I definitely do believe that the mercenaries are gonna side with the Decepticons, and Megatron is gonna employ their services to locate the Autobots or destroy them at one point. We also see Ravage and Laserbeak there, which they look really cool, I'm not gonna lie. We got Soundwave here, like messing up with I don't know what that is. It looks like a chest. Maybe Megatron's about to deliver Double Dealer the Energon for information, or like to buy his services, because you know the mercenaries really do value Energon because it's pretty scarce by this point. Starscream is pointing at Laserbeak. I don't think that's anything too special. It's really hard to look at the panels that Double Dealer is watching. Like in one we clearly do see the mercenary logo, but in the other one it looks like he's just looking at, you know, space or the Nemesis. It's really hard to tell what it is because of the quality. Like sadly the quality of the images are not the best. You know, you actually need to buy them if you want the HD real life version, which totally sucks for me who wants to analyze this. Makes my job a bit harder. Now in the outside we see plenty of other Transformers like floating through empty space. The only other time we see Transformers, you know, in regards to Earthrise floating through empty space is in the packaging for Earthrise. In the main packaging, the artwork, we actually see some supposed Autobots, like, you know, outside the Ark, they get blasted off the ship, and we also see what it looks to be Galvatron, like, you know, lost through space, which it's really weird. I mean, we do know that this continuity is going with the whole Megatron and Galvatron are two separate entities. They're not the same, unlike G1. So, you know, it looks like they're not going full on G1 with this continuity. We also see another red and silver Transformer. It looks sort of like a Dinobot, but again, it's really hard to tell. And we do see other ones outside the windows. At the beginning, I was thinking that these were just, you know, dead Autobots that the Nemesis managed to blast off the Ark, but then when you see Galvatron in there, like, it kind of threw a wrench into my theory. So probably not Autobots, because, you know, Galvatron's not an Autobot, and it'll be really weird for all of these guys to just be Decepticons and just be out there. I don't know, maybe the Nemesis gets damaged by the Ark somehow and the mercenaries appear after the Ark leaves and they start helping the Nemesis crew, you know, get back to their ships or something. Maybe. Again, it's really hard to construct a story out of the information we have here, and this doesn't become easier when we look at the final piece of artwork, which is just, you know, the Earthrise packaging. Now, I wanted to do a video dissecting this for a long time, so I'm taking the chance right now to dissect it. The Nemesis eventually chases the Ark. Some people are speculating that by the end of Siege, the unknown vessel that's approaching the Ark is actually the Nemesis. I sort of argue against it because I feel like when we see the Ark, you know, after crossing the space bridge, I assume that it happened at least, you know, a couple of hours after the Autobots left Cybertron, so I didn't see it possible for like the Nemesis to be built or assembled in such a short amount of time and, you know, chase the Autobots through the universe. But I guess that maybe towards the ending scene of Siege, as some decent amount of time passed and eventually the Nemesis caught up. Maybe. We do know that the Quintessons are most likely gonna be a part of Siege because the Quintessons do have a toy. We see the Quintessons home planet of Aquatron. We see Double Dealer here, who we also saw in the previous artwork. You know, he's part of the mercenaries. Here we also see the Autobots that we saw in the first artwork. We see Bumblebee and what it looks like Cup, I think, I'm not sure, you know, running to the hallways of the Ark as it's getting blasted. Here we see Shockwave, who's doing some kind of weird experiment. We see that there's a portal behind him. So my guess is that they're taking, you know, a cue from Transformers Prime and working on space bridges slash ground bridges, which, you know, they can use to teleport almost anywhere. My guess with Shockwave here is that he's probably gonna be working like behind Megatron's back, and I think he's also gonna be left on Cybertron, much like he was on G1. In G1, depending on like the continuity, if you watch the series, Shockwave has always been loyal to Megatron. If you like read the comics, Shockwave has ulterior motives and betrays Megatron quite often, almost as much as Starscream. In Siege, when we saw Megatron and Shockwave like, you know, talk to each other directly, Megatron did seem to have a bit of animosity towards Shockwave, and Shockwave does seem to keep things behind Megatron's back. So my guess is that Shockwave is gonna basically turn rebel or something. He's gonna like try and overthrow Megatron in some way, because that was being sort of set up on Siege, so I personally believe that that's what's gonna happen for Earthrise. Shockwave's just gonna, you know, start doing some nefarious experiments on Cybertron to like get the upper hand on Megatron when he comes back. Because recently in a producer interview, they did pretty much confirm that we're not gonna be leaving Cybertron entirely. We're gonna be seeing what the Transformers are doing outside of Cybertron, and we're gonna see what the remaining ones are doing on Cybertron. So, you know, there is that. Then again, here in this part, we see the Ark falling to Earth and eventually crashes, and it results in that, you know, first artwork that we saw. Pretty self-explanatory. Now, the thing that really confuses me is that we see Unicron here. Now, the reason why seeing Unicron here confuses me so much is because, well, this universe sort of just started. Like, we were just on Cybertron, seeing the Great Exodus take place before our very eyes, and now we have the Quintessons, we have the mercenaries, we have the chase through space, we have Earth, and now we have Unicron and Galvatron. It's like plot lines that are like converging together or happening way too fast. Now, don't get me wrong, seeing all of these things take place like and start to develop for Earthrise could make the series very interesting, but it could also make it very rushed, because I feel like with Earthrise we're also gonna get 6 episodes. Now, that hasn't been confirmed, but unless they're doing 12 episodes, I don't see them juggling successfully all of these plot lines and different details successfully in such a short amount of episodes. I'm gonna give you my prediction as to the story that these 3 different pieces of artwork convey. Okay, so number 1, I feel like the Ark gets chased through space by the Nemesis. The Nemesis eventually somehow catches up to them, and by some miracle the Autobots manage to like get away or whatever and like fight back against the Decepticons. The Decepticon ship is like heavily damaged, so they need some repairs and they need help detecting where the Autobots went, so they hired the help of mercenaries who just happened to be around the area, being Double Dealer, Snapdragon, and a bunch of others, you know, supposedly. The Autobots, since now their Ark is damaged, they, you know, try and make some emergency repairs or whatever, so they end up landing on, you know, Aquatron, or maybe they get shot down and the Quintessons kidnap them to the planet. So some small skirmishes do end up happening, but eventually the Autobots do manage to break free and resume their quest for the Allspark, because by this point, you know, the Allspark is out there in space, nobody knows where it is. The Autobots are supposedly looking for it, and so is Megatron. The Autobots eventually do find out where the Allspark is, and so do the Decepticons, which brings them to Earth. So they have a, you know, basically a race to the planet. The 2 ships meet once again, and the Ark crashes on Earth. And they land on a mountain and starts getting their Earth vehicle mods, like we see here. Then the Decepticons proceed to like counter the Autobots, like we see in the artwork for the Coneheads and Ironhide and Prowl. The Seekers are the first to respond, but I think the Autobots manage to fight them off, and what happens after that is pretty much anyone's guess. I don't really know how Unicron and Galvatron fit into all of this. That's the only thing I'm not too sure about. I definitely do think that Shockwave starts like, building weapons of mass destruction or like doing very unethical experiments back on Cybertron, because it does appear that Shockwave is gonna end up being left behind on Cybertron, much like he was on G1, which, we're gonna see Leader 1, Red Alert, Chromia, and whatever other remaining Autobots are left start resistance movement against Shockwave, and whatever other Decepticon is left in command. And yeah, that's my best guess as to what's gonna happen in Earthrise. Now, keep in mind that what I'm saying here is not like 100% guarantee. For all I know, things can happen differently, maybe in a very different order. But I definitely do believe that most of the stuff that we see here is in fact gonna appear in the Earthrise sequel series to Siege. Something else that's very interesting is that most of the stuff that happens here is like outside Earth. So despite the toy line being called Earthrise, it looks like we're gonna be spending quite a bit of time off Earth, which is kind of weird, but honestly, we've seen Transformers on Earth so many times that I actually don't mind if we spend quite a bit of time in space or whatever. But that's just my crazy theory. Maybe you guys can form a better storyline or maybe a better prediction as to what's gonna happen from these 3 artworks. I'm gonna put the link to the website where you can buy them, and you can get a better look at them so you can, come up with your own crazy theories as to what's gonna happen in Earthrise. Comment in the comments down below, and if you guys come up with something really good, I might end up making a video about it, because I honestly, for the life of me, can't figure out what Unicron and Gambitron are doing in here. It seems that everyone's already fighting for the spotlight in Earthrise, so it's very hard to imagine how all of these, different factions and concepts and characters and locations are gonna fit in an Earthrise series. So have fun losing your minds trying to fit in everything. My brain's already fried. But anyways guys, before we go, shout out to our patrons Morise Prime, Mateo, Mario Gordon, Christopher Prime, Stephanie Ballard, and the absolute madman himself, Jordan the Great, who donated $100. Thank you guys for donating, it's much appreciated, and if you guys want to donate to my Patreon, links will be in the description down below and in the comments down below. By donating to my Patreon, you get access to some of my videos early, you can request your own videos, you receive a shout out at the end of my videos, you can participate in some of my videos if you so choose, and you get a few previews of some of my new works that are currently in development. There are plenty of rewards that you get as a result of becoming one of my patrons, and I do plan to adding a few more in the future as time goes on and the patrons grow, but keep in mind that donating is entirely optional, because freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Thank you to my patrons for donating, it's much appreciated. And if you guys want to donate, you know what to do. So yeah, thanks a lot guys. But anyways guys, that's it for this video. Hopefully you'll enjoy. Again, I should mention that what I just said in this video is not like 100% guaranteed to become true. I definitely do believe that some of the stuff I did mention is going to end up happening. But as for the placing of the events, how they're gonna happen, when they're gonna happen, the length of the series, that's the kind of stuff I really don't know. But the mercenaries are confirmed, the Quintessons are a bit meh, Shockwave on Cybertron's confirmed, the Nemesis and the Ark are pretty much confirmed, and the Decepticons and Autobots making it to Earth is also pretty much confirmed. So from those small confirmations, we can make some educated guesses as to what's gonna happen. So, have fun speculating. Anyways guys, that's it for this video. I've gone on for way too long, it's almost half an hour because, well, I've been recording this for half an hour, so it's gonna take me a while to edit because I threw a whole lot of crazy conspiracy theories about the show that I don't think are gonna become true, so I'm going to have to be cutting a lot of that. Thanks to TF fan page for making that, my brother couldn't be here today joke. I still have a few more which I'm probably gonna end up using in some future videos, so expect a few more of those. Anyways, that's it for this video guys. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay safe guys.